Hey, fourth and fifth graders. We are back for another week of 3D design in technology class. And I've seen a lot of really cool lamp designs that you guys have already started working on at home for this project. Remember that for this project, you are trying to design a real lamp or light fixture in your bedroom, or at least one that's kind of inspired by a real one in your bedroom. And you're trying to have it be a functional lamp in the sense that you could put one of the little lights from our electricity kit inside of it and have the light from the little bulb emerge through your lamp in a bedroom model. And if you are someone who chose to do a bedroom model to wire for your final electricity project in science class, you can actually use this lamp in that final bedroom model too. So that is a cool connection. But this is still your tech project, even if you chose a different project for your electricity invention. So I'm going to show you a few tips. Some kids have asked some great questions to help them design their lamps. And so I'm going to answer some of those questions and give some tips about some things that a few people might want to know how to do to design a good lamp or light fixture in the 3D modeling program in Tinkercad. Evan sent me a photo of a cool lamp that he has in his bedroom that he's trying to design in Tinkercad. And he asked about how to make some of these dents and shapes along the base of his lamp, because the shapes that are in Tinkercad are just kind of a basic column or sphere or cube. And so sometimes it's a little tricky to figure out how to make bulges of shapes that come out or dents of shape that go in. So I wanted to show a little bit of a tip for how to do that. So when you're in Tinkercad, here's my basic lamp design from last time. I have pulled out some torus shapes, they're called. They're in the shape, basic shapes menu. And this could also be done with something like a tube or a ring. There's a few of these that would work really well for this concept. But to get a bulge shape out, you would basically try to get one of these types of ring type shapes, like a torus, to be a similar size. This one's 34 by 34 to your base. So my base is 20 by 20. So this is going to be wider than that. And then I can put this around my base. And then when you look at it from the side, it creates that kind of bulge outward that some lamps have. And then of course you could adjust how deep it is, or you could adjust it and be slightly smaller. And so that would be a great way to have some of that 3D shape coming out to add some of those details that pop out of your lamp. And then if you would like to figure out ways to carve dents into your lamp or into any 3D design, you can use a solid shape and have it touch a little bit, like overlap another shape a little bit, and then turn that denting shape into a hole. So it kind of carves it out. So I have this other torus shape right here. And if I move this, actually I'm gonna move it up a little bit first so that we can see it better. And then if I move it around my lamp, and then I kind of make sure that it's the right size to tuck in a little bit, to overlap in with the center of my lamp space. I'm gonna just say, let's make them both 26. Oops, not 6, 26. There we go. And then now that it's overlapping, I can turn that shape into a hole, and it carves that shape into the base of my lamp. And it's a lot easier to see if I then group those together, and you can see how it carved in where that ring, that torus shape, was overlapping into my base. So you could do that, in any size. You could try out a few of these different ring type shapes from the menu to see kind of what textures and what exact carving shapes they do once you turn them into a hole. But that's a way that you can make dents inward in a design or a shape. And then we could also group that base onto there. And then you can see that it just looks a lot more like a real lamp that has some of those curves and dents in it, like Evan's lamp did. I mean, Evan's is a lot more detailed, but this is the start of kind of how you would get there, is to kind of piece together some other shapes around the base that pop out and carve in when you create them into holes, when you translate them into holes. I'm going to just group my whole thing so it looks nice and one colored. The other thing that I wanted to mention that is a fun little flair that you could add is other ways to let the light shine out of the lampshade section. So yes, you are trying to model this lamp after a real lamp or light fixture in your bedroom, but you can be a little creative in order to help get the light shining out of it. So for instance, I could make some holes into the lampshade where the little light from the light bulb could shine out, so it doesn't just shine out of the bottom. I could do that at the top. So I could take something like a sphere and I could lift it to the right height, and then I could bring it over on top of my lamp. Let's see, that's pretty centered. And then I could turn that sphere into a hole. And then when I group those, I have a little hole out the top of my lamp. Do you see that? So a lot of real lamps have that anyway. You can see in Evan's photo of his lamp right there, there's a hole at the top. That hole's even a little bit wider. So if I went backwards, I could even make this a little bit bigger, and then maybe a little bit deeper as well. And then if I group those, then I have a nice big opening at the top. So that's one way you could add a hole into your lampshade, both to make it look more realistic, like a real lamp, and to let some light out. But then another thing you could do, even if your lamp doesn't really have holes in the lampshade, because we can't make our lampshades actually translucent for the light to shine through the lampshade material, we could make holes into the lampshade. So pretend I wanted a star-shaped hole, even if my real lamp doesn't have that. This is a little imaginative flair that you can add. So I could go down to the star menu, but what I'm going to try to do is add the stars around the sides of this lamp. And that would be a pain in the booty to bring these stars out and try to spin them to make them the right angle. So this is a really good chance to use the new work plane, to bring a new work plane out onto the edge of your lamp so you can put a shape right on that same exact angle. So to do that, you drag a new work plane, which is somehow does not like to work when I am using Zoom. Come here. Oh, there it is. I think I saw it. Come on. There it is. So if I put that work plane, so I clicked and I held down to drag it out, and I'm just waiting until I have it in the right place. So I'm trying to put it kind of just along the edge of my lampshade somewhere, like how about right there? So that's a new work plane now. That means that if I drag a star out, it'll be on the exact matching angle to that lampshade. And then I can, drag my view around however I want, and I can make the star whatever size I want for the hole to be. It's hard to drag when it's so little. Come here, little star. Nope, I don't want to change your angle. I want to drag you. Thank you. And then see how it's just sticking right onto the lampshade? I can make it a little smaller. I still want it kind of deep, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the party hat and sink it into the lampshade and turn it into a hole, which will drill a star-shaped hole into my lampshade. And so I'll show you what that looks like. So to get the normal work plane back, you just drag another work plane out and drop it. And so now if I group these together, you can see I have a a star-shaped hole in my lamp and drilled right into one of my supports. So that you see the little column in there that was supporting my lampshade. So that might not be the exact right spot for one, but hopefully you get the concept for how you could drill some little holes, even some fun shaped ones like stars, into your lampshade to actually let the light shine through. So there are a couple tips for kind of how you add dents, how you add detailed parts coming out, and a little fun flare that you could add to your lampshade or to your dome, whatever's covering your light fixture, to add holes in it to actually let the light emit out into your pretend bedroom model a little bit more. One more piece of exciting news is that Dan, who is Avi's dad, the same dad who so wonderfully and generously donated the brand new 3D printer to our classroom, Dan has offered to try to print some of your 3D designs in his home printers during this time that we can't access the printer at school, which is so, so nice of him. I want to make sure that you know that this is just something we're trying. We don't know for sure if it's going to work for him to print the designs that you guys make on his home printer. And if he can print some of them or all of them, then we're going to have to figure out how to safely get those designs to you. If it's going to be they just wait at his house until it's kind of an all clear and we can figure out a way to have them delivered or picked up. That might be one of the choices. And in that case, maybe Avi could show them to you in some of the Zoom morning meetings so you could at least see your designs actually printed and get excited about getting them in real life someday. Or there might be, don't get your hopes up, but there might be a way for us to figure out a safe delivery or porch pickup method for you to get these designs that he's printing. So this is all something we're just trying for the first time, and it might not work at all. So we might not be able to print your designs, or we might be able to print some of them and not all of them, or print them but not get them to you right away. But either way, it's extremely generous of Avi's dad, Dan, to even try this for you guys. So let's be patient as we figure out this system and not get our hopes up yet, and just see what happens with this. Because you guys are having a lot of fun, it seems like, doing your 3D design in Tinkercad, and you're definitely getting a whole lot better every single day you work on it. I can see that when I'm looking into your accounts. And it's very beneficial to work on the skills of 3D design. That is a very good technological skill to have in this day and age. But I know that it would be even more fun if those designs could actually get printed for you. So either way, you're getting to be a lot better 3D designer, but we're going to see if we can at least try this system for printing some of your designs at Avi's house from Avi's dad's printers. So I'm going to show you the steps that you will have to do to go through to get me the designs so that I can send them over to Avi's dad. So pay attention to these next steps. In order for us to send something to Avi's dad to try to get printed, you need to choose one design. So either your lamp or your bedroom chair or your bed, one thing to start trying. If the system works really well, maybe we'll get to print more in the future, but just choose one thing to start with for us to try doing this with Avi's dad. And then you need to double, triple check that your design is truly finished. And I mean looking at it from all perspectives, making sure everything is connected. You don't have any shapes that are hovering next to each other that you thought were connected, but the printer won't actually be able to print them together because they're not actually touching and ideally overlapping a little bit to have an extra strong connection. So you want to check everywhere that all of your shapes are connected, that they're where you want them to be, that the printer is going to be able to print your design and have it fully finished. And if it's a lamp, to make sure that it has that hole in the bottom for one of those little light bulbs to actually go through, and that it's the right size. So double check before you send this to get printed that it is the size that you want. 32 by 32, I think, is what my lamp is right now. That's millimeters, so that's about 3 centimeters wide. So kind of get your ruler out, think about how big that will actually be when you print it. Is that the size you want it? Is the hole that's in the bottom of your lamp, if it's a lamp that you're printing, is that the right size to fit one of these little light bulbs through it? Remember, these light bulbs are about 1 centimeter wide, which means they're 10 millimeters wide. So is your hole the right size for that? So double, triple, quadruple check all of the parts of your design, the sizes, the connections, and finally, last but not least, double, triple check that the whole thing is grouped by selecting it. If it doesn't even give you the group option, that means it's all grouped, it's all stuck together. But if it gives you the group option, then that means something was not connected. So your final step is to double check that it's all grouped so that the printer recognizes it as one object, not lots of little things trying to get printed together. That doesn't usually work very well. So after you've double, triple checked all of your parts and sizes and groupings, then you're going to need to change the name to whatever it is. So bedroom lamp is a good start, but you also need your name at the beginning. So I would change the name of my design to Zoe Bedroom Lamp. That will help me keep track of whose designs are whose, and help Avi's dad, Dan, keep track of whose designs are whose. So your name needs to be in the title along with what you're printing, like Zoe Bedroom Lamp. And then hit enter, and that will save your new name. And then go back to your dashboard, just like you would if you were ending a design session and saving your work. Adding one little quick thing in here, that if you have lots of pieces of furniture or designs in one design work plane, like Nadine does, I'm showing Nadine's furniture and lamp right now, but you're only allowed to print one of those things, you do not need to click and delete some of those other things that you don't want to print. Don't delete them. They're amazing, and we might be able to print them later. But what you can do to get one design isolated by itself to send in to get printed is you just click that design. Like, for instance, if Nadine wants to print her lamp as her one thing for Dan to try to print, she clicks that, she copies it, just like she would if she were going to make another one on the same work plane. So she's copied it, and then she goes back to her normal dashboard. She makes a new design. So she opens up a new design. If mine will go, I can do it. So create new design. And then you're going to paste it in a new design. And that way you have only one object to print by itself to send in to get printed. So in this case, I would paste it, and poof, there is the lamp. You can kind of center it, and then remember you're going to rename it with your name. So that would be Nadine Lamp. And then you're going to follow directions for how to save it and send it to me. And then you're going to click on your design again from the dashboard. And instead of clicking Tinker This, which is what you're used to clicking, you're this time instead going to click Download. And Download gives you a few options. You want the option that says .stl. That is the right form for the type of printer that Avi's dad uses. So you're going to click that, And some computers will automatically start the download like mine did. Mine already finished. You can see that in the bottom bar of my window. Some computers might pop up a little screen saying, are you sure you want to download this? And if it does that, say yes, because you know this is a safe download. It's not a virus. And then you're going to need to find it in your downloads folder and attach it to an email. So that would look like this. You would either see it in your downloads folder, which mine is I have an easy access download folder. So Zoe Bedroom Lamp is right there. Or many of you might have to go to your Finder or your home page, and then somewhere on the side, you should have a downloads folder where your design should appear along with any other recent things you've downloaded. You can see some of the recent things I've downloaded, but you can see that Zoe Bedroom Lamp is right there. The preview might not look the way you think it should look. It might be sideways like mine is, but as long as it's there, that's good. And then you're going to have your parents help you attach that to an email as its own file and email it to me. Or you could put it in your student Seesaw account that Ms. Shumway and Miss Allie opened up for you. So either email it to me or put it in your Seesaw account, and then I will compile all the student designs together, send them to Avi's dad, and he will give it a try to print some of them, and we'll cross our fingers that it works. But he's been super nice to even try this for us. So thank you, Avi's dad, Dan. All right, finish those lamps. They're due at the end of this week. And then choose one of your designs, either one of your furniture designs or your lamp design that you would like to try to have printed, and go through those steps I just showed you to double, triple check it, to rename it, and then download it as a .stl file, and then email it as an attachment or load it into your Seesaw folder, and we will try to see if we can get some of them printed. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Have fun.